going to go back and look at the Bible and talk about what the culture was like back then and how it relates to us today. Honor, shame, culture. And what does that mean? The best way to describe an honor, shame culture is to think of it like a fifth grade playground or a rap battle where for me to elevate my status, it's kind of like, well, I have to put you down because there's only so much honor to go around in our community. And the best way to think about it is kind of like this pie, where honor is a finite asset. There's only so much honor to go around. And so if you think of it like a pie, we have our collective honor of our community. And if I want some honor, I have to take it. I have to carve for myself a piece of this pie. Now, of course, what that means is that there's not enough to go around for everybody to have it in equal measure. And so your lack of honor is your shame. And what usually happened throughout the Gospels that we see is this idea of public discourse. And there was no greater example of this than the Pharisees. The Pharisees always came publicly. They came for the show of it. It was a theater. It was a battle. And they had questions, but they were talking to the crowd just as much as they were talking to Jesus. And they weren't like, sir, I have a question. They were like, hey, everybody, listen to this question I'm going to ask this man. And there's always someone's going to leave this interaction a winner, and someone is going to leave this interaction a loser. And now, aside from their reputation of legalism and hypocrisy, I want to look at three characteristics of the Pharisees. And when I think of Pharisees, this is what I think of. The first thing was this idea of the public confrontation. This is what we were talking about, that everything is done out in the open for all to see. And so it's not just me talking to you, it's me talking, addressing you in front of everybody. The other characteristic is the idea of personal justification, that I will be proven right by this. I'm doing this for a reason. I'm right, you're wrong, and everyone's going to see that. And then that comes at a price. The price of personal justification is often compassion. You have to sacrifice compassion for the other person so that you will always emerge the winner. And so when I think of the Pharisees, these are the three things that I think of the most often. And so this is the public discourse in the Gospels. And then something amazing happens. A man comes along and does something radically different, something unconventional, something brave. This man is Nicodemus, and he comes alone, and he comes humble. He comes at night. And for centuries in our Western mindset, we've kind of labeled him as a coward because he came at nighttime. But I want to re-examine Nicodemus, and I actually want you to know that I hold him up as a great example that I want to follow. It was the best way to communicate to Jesus, hey, look, I'm not playing those games. I really want to have an authentic and real conversation. And more than any other recorded conversation with a Pharisee, Nicodemus has the longest, most revealing discourse that doesn't resemble the honor, shame culture of the day. And unlike the other Pharisees, Nicodemus had a private conversation, and Nicodemus had a willingness to be taught. And so I love Nicodemus. And yet that social discourse, that honor, shame culture has, from my point of view, we have been able to harness the most important invention of the last 500 years, the pinnacle of human technology. And what we have been able to do is perfectly recreate an honor, shame culture in our own time. And that is social media. We have harnessed the internet and all of technology, and we have created a modern day honor, shame culture. And you might be like, well, I'm at home alone. And that might be true, but social media is not. Everything is public discourse on social media. So it doesn't matter if you're by yourself, you're still doing what the Pharisees were doing. So let me just say this. I don't hate social media. I love to see your kids. I love to see your vacations. I love to see the memes. I love the way that it's disrupted traditional journalism, and it's helped people see things that would have gone unnoticed before. I love social media, but I hate what it's done to the way we communicate with each other. We all know what this is. You've done it, I've done it, you've been the recipient of it, I've been the recipient of it. And we all know that there's nothing humble about this. And I now feel like the veil has been lifted and I see mic drop statements everywhere. In the same way that we had a modern day equivalent to the honor shame culture, there is a modern day equivalent to Nicodemus. And it's going to sound revolutionary, and that is a face-to-face conversation, maybe over a meal, maybe at someone's house. I know, that sounds crazy. We need to do this more. We need to be like Nicodemus, not like the Pharisees. And you might already feel the threat of Nicodemus. What is the threat of Nicodemus? Well, it's being misunderstood if you don't stand your ground in the public square. Nicodemus came to Jesus at night and for centuries was labeled a coward. And we think now, if I'm not shutting down people online with my perfectly crafted mic drop statements, am I even a real person? Do I have any worth? Yes, your worth is not defined by your ability to craft the perfect comeback online. But when it comes to social media activity, in regards to what we post online, not the pictures, not the jokes, but whenever you're commenting on something or when you're making a post, I want you to think about 3 questions, okay? The 3 questions are this: am I adding to the new honor shame culture by the way that I'm engaging online? Am I trying to honor myself, or am I trying to honor someone else? And I would just encourage you, please be careful. Don't just say I'm honoring God by shaming other people. God may disagree with you on that. My second question is this: is there any way that I am being a modern day Pharisee? What does that mean? Do I have to have this confrontation publicly? Am I looking to be justified? Am I looking to prove myself right in this, the personal justification? And is there any way that I am setting aside compassion to proclaim myself as the winner, to be right? And then my last question is this: have I done enough to build a safe and trusting relationship with this person? Basically, how could I be a Nicodemus here? I hope that is something that we could meditate on. Most of the time, when I ask myself these questions, no matter how perfectly I have crafted the most amazing, statement, most of the time when I read ask myself those 3 questions, I end up highlighting and erasing the whole thing and then walking away from the computer. Thinking this way has made me stop posting a lot, because I just feel like as much as I might win that battle, we are losing the spiritual battle by creating this new modern day honor shame culture. Now look, it would be stupid of me to even try to tell people how to use social media. And if there's one thing I have learned in the ministry, it's that trying to control people, it doesn't work. So my goal is not to tell you how to use your Facebook or your Instagram. You're going to do whatever you're going to do. But my goal is to help you see things from a perspective of lordship. It's easy to think that social media is not in the Bible. I looked, it's not in there, so there's no principles governing it. And that's not true. I hope that just by looking at these things, I'm able to demonstrate that even though the Pharisees didn't have the internet or smartphones, they perfected the social structure that you are just now starting to engage in. And they are happy to introduce you to the newest version of their ancient honor shame culture. I just pray that we can be different. We can be like Jesus and Nicodemus in the garden. Thanks, guys. I love you. I hope this helps.